Coming up today on the ROL Show.
And, people just think of DJing and they're thinking, oh, okay, you're just blending two records, but it's musicality, it's yes. Precision, it's timing, and then the art form of scratching. That's yes. Music with music, scratching a verse or scratching a phrase or saying or some kind of sound. It's musicality. It's the same kind of training that you put into learning an instrument. So I've classically trained in violin, piano, saxophone, and the same type of training that I went into learning that instrument. The same type of training I learned into learning how to use these instruments.
Wow!
Hours upon hours of training, and day and night. Like, I just finished my homework quick, and then boom, I'm on my turntables.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the ROL podcast, Returns on Life. I have an amazing speaker today. His name is Isaiah Icy Ice. Guys, this guy used to be the top DJ for Rick D's in the morning. Remember that? He also was a top DJ for 92.3 The Beat. This guy he's been a DJ for Kobe Bryant. He's been a DJ for all the top Hollywood stars. He's been in some amazing parties, but not only that, he's an amazing father. He's an amazing husband. And I'm so excited because he's raising a couple of twins, and I always see him posting on Facebook and Instagram, his twins. I'm going to call it out right now. Those twins are going to be top professional golfers one day. They have an amazing swing. How young are your twins, Isaiah?
They are 12.
They're 12. Yeah. The cool thing, he has twins, I have twins. Yes. What a great father.
Twins rule.
Yeah, exactly. We rule. Dad twins. Twin dads, right?
Yes, twin dads.
Today, I want to interview him today on how he became successful on following his passion. Because Isaiah is a top DJ. So Isaiah, first question today is, how did you discover DJing, and what made you get involved with DJ and make it a career? What was it? Was it like a voice you heard or an accident? So tell your audience how that all happened.
The fun thing with DJing was I learned about it, and I found it and discovered it around a time when hip hop was just beginning. It's in the early 80s. I was a kid. I was probably in elementary school, and I was just amazed. But it wasn't until I got into middle school that I saw my first exposure to a real DJ at one of my school dances. And this wasn't just an ordinary DJ or some garage DJ or some part-time DJ. This was a world-renowned, world-class recording artist DJ. Wow. And he went by the name of DJ Joe Cooley, and he was with the K-Day Mixmasters, and they were performing at my middle school. And he was actually giving out records, copies of his record "Everlasting Bass," which is one of the records that Kendrick Lamar just recently sampled. Wow. So yeah, that was the type of caliber DJ I was exposed to, and I fell in love, and I just wanted to become a DJ from that point on. So
middle school. So what is that, like? You're 12, 13 years old, right around there?
Yeah, I was probably like 12, 13, just brand new, like 7th grade in middle school, and this was my first dance ever that I went to, and that was the kind of exposure I got. Wow. Was that kind of DJ.
So tell us about, like, so what did you do? Did you go buy your equipment? So what was the next step that you did?
So yeah, after I got exposed to that, then of course I was always listening to the K-Day Mixmasters on the radio as well, and so I bugged my parents. I was like just bugging my dad all the time, like, can I get some turntables? And he did not want to buy me a turntable, because in the 80s, a $300 turntable, when you could just get a turntable for less than $100, that was outrageous. And I needed 2 turntables. I needed, like, the equipment. I needed this kind of equipment to become a DJ. And well, to my dad's credit, he made me work for it. He didn't just buy it for me. He made me work hard for it. And then, of course, I had to keep up the grades and all of that and prove myself. So, yeah, once I finally got the turntables, then it was just day and night, eat, sleep, DJs, all of that. Like, that was just my life.
Well, tell us about, because I remember you were like, you blew up. It seemed to me like you blew up pretty quickly, you're just in the local scene. You were like the number one guy. So tell us about your first DJing event. How did that happen? And were you nervous? How did you do? How did it go?
My first event was horrible. It was just a birthday party, so it was nothing spectacular. But I will say though, like, I was part of a scene, and you know, like, I started with Filipinos and Asians, and
Yes.
in the late '80s into the '90s, like, we were non-existent in big nightclubs in LA and Hollywood. You know, like, you probably go to a CJ Barrymore's in Torrance or something like that. That was like the best of our clubs, you know? And then you had hall parties, you know, like people would throw parties at hotels or rent out a hall, or, you know, that was the extent of our party scene back in that time. And so yeah, I was exposed right away because I knew friends. You know, in my network, in my circle, I knew friends that was connected to some of the top promoters, and they gave my mixtape to that promoter, and that opened the door for me. These were girls I went to church with, and they passed off my mixtape to a promoter that they would help pass out flyers for.
Wow.
And so that's how I got my break into doing big events. And so I was a 16-year-old playing big hall parties. And then as we got into the 90s, like, man, we started to break into clubs. My group, Legend Entertainment, we started to do the Variety Arts Center in downtown LA, which sits right across the street from the Staples Center now.
Yes.
Or Crypto Arena, my bad.
Yeah.
And then, like the United Kingdom and a lot of these guys, UK, Public Image, all these guys would start throwing events in Hollywood. And I was growing up with these guys and training with a lot of these DJs, and eventually I worked my way into DJing at these clubs as well. So yeah, I went from just a small little start as a boy in Carson to playing clubs in Hollywood and things like that. So it was a fast and fun ride.
Hey, tell us, how many hours did you practice? I mean, because that's what you do is not easy. So tell me your life. Like, I know you're amazing. You're on, you know, you're DJing in front of people. What did it take to get to the where you got to the point where you're so good? So how many hours did you practice?
So to put it in perspective, like a professional athlete, they just practice day and night. That same kind of training and passion for music. And, you know, people just think of DJing and they're thinking, oh, okay, you're just blending two records, but it's musicality, it's precision, it's timing, and then the art form of scratching. That's music with music, scratching a verse or scratching a phrase or saying or some kind of sound. It's musicality. It's the same kind of training that you put into learning an instrument. So I've classically trained in violin, piano, saxophone, and the same type of training that I went into learning that instrument, the same type of training I learned into learning how to use these instruments.
Wow.
Hours upon hours of training, and day and night. Like, I just finished my homework quick, and then boom, I'm on my turntables.
Wow.
From the time I get home from school all the way until I go to sleep. I wake up, first thing I do is I'm touching the turntables, mixing some records, and then off to school.
So cool. Well, take us now. Let's take the lead. How did you get to be on Power 106 FM and 92 The Point Through the Beat? How did you hook up with Rick Dees? How did that all happen? Because that's a huge break.
So, long story short was, as I was in those DJ circles doing the nightclubs and we were doing big Filipino and Asian events, I started my crew, the Beat Junkies, we were always being invited to record industry events and record listening parties. And so we got invited to an event at Motown Records. And Andre Harrell, rest in peace, he was the president of Motown at that time, and he was debuting some music. But at that meeting was one of my heroes that I listened to on the radio, and his name was Julio G of the K-Day Mixmasters.
So cool.
Julio G was DJing for Eazy-E at the time. And they were at 92.3 The Beat. And so shortly after I had met Julio G at that event, I invited him to one of our dances. He came out. He actually came out, and he was just blown away because he's never seen an Asian party rock into hip hop. Their perception was just Asians are nerds and Asians listen to new wave or punk or whatever. Yeah. They didn't know that Filipinos and Asians love hip hop and that we got down and we cut and we scratch and we were very musical. All of that. It was just a mind blow for him. And so months later, Eazy-E passed away. Yeah. And then Julio G took over Eazy-E's time slot on Saturdays on 92.3 The Beat. And so Julio opened up the doors to invite local DJs. And the first DJs he invited was the Beat Junkies, myself, Mellow D, and some of the crew members. And
so cool.
Yeah, from there, it just pretty much opened the door for us to get on 92.3 The Beat. I had a good run there with Theo and all those guys. Like, I did morning show. I did afternoon.
Theo, I remember Theo.
All of that, yeah. But yeah, morning show and afternoon drive is equivalent to, prime time on TV at the time. Yep. And this was at a time when radio and TV were the only media. There was no phones. There was no social media. There was nothing. The importance of radio and TV was just like huge. That's where you got your music. That's where you found your news. That's where you found the social events and everything. And so I came in at a time when radio was very, very, very important, and it's still important to a point at this day and age. But it was like top 2 media.
Wow.
Top 2 media, and then we're of course in Los Angeles, and we're in the top 2 markets in the whole U.S., New York and LA. So.
Well, tell us about that. Tell us about that. Now, tell us about working with Rick Dees. How was that? So you have to go into LA every morning. So tell us about your life at that time. How was Rick Dees? How was it working for him? I mean, the recognition you got from that, I'm sure, was absolutely amazing. Probably catapulted you. So tell us about that.
So I was working for 92.3 The Beat. Then I eventually worked at 93.5 K-Day and 93.5 K-Day. We brought it back on FM, on the FM dial. So I was part of those crews, but they helped bring me over to work for Rick Dees. And this was at a time when Rick Dees had just got let go from Kiss FM. So he was on a brand new station, Moving 939. And so he was doing the morning shows, and he was competing against his rival, which was Ryan Seacrest. Yeah. Yeah. And so, it was a crazy time because I saw the professionalism and the big difference in working for Rick Dees versus working for a hip hop station or, come up. It's just a different level of professionalism when you're working with a pro like Rick Dees, who ran LA radio for years and years and years and years. You could see why he had such a longevity in radio. Yes. And I learned a lot of just traits and just professionalism and how he operated, and it was amazing. It was amazing working with Rick. So cool. Just always so on the go, and then he's so quick-witted.
You're so funny.
Amazing. That's why he was so comedic. That's why he can he was just on the fly, so funny and just amazing at what he did.
So cool.
But the crazy thing working for Rick Dees at that time was I was just getting married. I just started a family. I just had brand new kids. And then I bought a brand new house in the Inland Empire. So I'm driving all the way to Burbank, fighting that traffic to DJ for Rick Dees. And it was hard, but it was an incredible experience, incredible learning from a legend like Rick Dees. And it was just a great time to be on radio at that time.
I got to ask you this question, Roke. As Asian parents, right? As Asians, right? I mean, our parents don't want us to be. I mean, how did you convince your dad, your mom? Because they all, as Asian parents, they want us to become doctors and attorneys and engineers. And here you are becoming a DJ. That must have been tough, bro. So how did you transition that? How did you I'm sure your dad was proud.
I got to give props to my parents. They got to give props to my parents because they were very, very, very supportive of me being a DJ. But my dad was kind of like business minded. He invested in real estate. He invested. He came from nothing and built himself here in America. And so him thinking in that mindset, he would see me and he was like, oh, this is a good opportunity for Isaiah to learn how to earn a little money, do a little hobby, and, learn some professionalism, dealing with some clients, things like that. Just little things that he thought like would be good for me to grow. But he never knew that my hobby would become my career.
Yes. So cool.
And the funny thing was, he would always push me like, okay, when are you going to go back to school and finish? Because I kind of dropped out of school to jump into radio and to go full time and do everything. And I'm like, Dad, I can always go back to school. Yep. I can always restart my career if I fail in radio and in music. And so they allowed me. They supported me.
Succeeding.
They let me have friends over all the time, and they let me have meetings at my house with 50 kids, like helping me pass out flyers at, for my nightclub events and things like that. But to my parents' credit, they were very, very supportive. But they always wanted me, as Asian parents, to finish with a good career. They wanted me to be professional. They wanted me to do all that. I just didn't do it in the traditional route. I did it unconventionally. I did it all opposite of what traditional parents, Asian parents, want their kids to do, So to their credit, they were very supportive, and they allowed me to grow and allowed me to keep doing it. But it's funny because even up to just even a few years ago, my dad was just like, well, all these years, he was like, oh, are you going to DJ until you're 30? Like, I just kept DJing until I was 30. Are you going to DJ until you're 40? I kept DJing until I was 40. And he was like, oh, are you going to be a 50, 60-year-old DJing? I'm like, pretty much, Dad. I don't think I'm going to stop until I die, pretty much.
Yes. I mean, you're well sought after, man. You're always DJing. I see it everywhere. It's so amazing. And thank you for that, man. I wanted to ask that question because, that's something like that we have to navigate through in life, right? But kudos to your parents.
It was a struggle. I'm sure it was a struggle for my parents because everyone's saying, "Oh, my kid goes to this school. Oh, my kid has this professional, job or whatever." And then they're like, "Oh, my kid is a DJ."
Yeah, that's so cool. As a DJ, I mean, I've been to your studio. I see all these awards on your wall. So tell the audience, like, all these records, what are these awards? What are they? I know what they are, but tell what these awards, these records are. What do they mean?
That one back here, that's from Eminem. This one is Columbia.
Wow.
Columbia with Lauryn Hill and the Fugees and Cypress Hill. That's all of these guys. This one right here is De La Soul. But yeah, these are plaques. And I'm in a room full of plaques. So if you look around my room, I have different plaques all around me. But yes, in the music industry, especially when you're working in radio, if you help break a project, these record companies award you for helping them break. And so at the time I was working at the Beat, and I was doing morning show and I was doing afternoon drive, and then I would play their songs on the radio, and that's exposure to millions and millions of people. And if I'm playing it multiple times a week, I'm helping break an artist in the Los Angeles market. And so if a record goes platinum or gold, or they hit any kind of status like that, then they award these to all the people that made it happen. So that's everyone, all the record executives, all the people in the record label that helped, and then the radio DJs that helped. And so
wow, so cool.
I've been blessed.
Yes, you have. You've totally been blessed. Well, let me ask you this. You played at some of the most exclusive parties and events in Hollywood. What was the most memorable event you ever DJ'd, and what made it stand out? The clean ones.
Okay, well, I'll keep it clean. But yeah, I mean, I've DJ'd Shaq's birthday. I DJ'd Shaq's birthday in Prince's nightclub, Glam Slam in LA, and the who's who. And this was when Shaq was here, just joining the Lakers, and everybody loved Shaq. So man, everybody loved this event. But the funny thing is, I'm shaking Shaq's hand, and I got a baby hand compared to his And then I'm going up to take a picture with Shaq, and I put my arm around him, and I'm so short that my arm around Shaq is right at his butt cheek. So it's almost like I grabbed his butt cheek, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry, my bad. I have to put my arm so it's higher up on his back versus on his butt,
So cool.
But it's amazing just playing for events like that. I also played for Grammy parties and different things. Wow. But yeah, it's just amazing seeing. Who was the nicest college star or athlete that you DJ'd for? I mean, someone that just blew you away how incredible they were. Wow. I think all artists that I've played for, celebrities in general that I played for, they're always super gracious and super nice, especially if you're DJing their party. So true. So, they're very thankful. I haven't met anybody that was terrible. So good to hear, bro. So good to hear. Because, Hollywood is known for its glitz and glamour, but also for its unique challenges. What's the biggest challenge you face as a DJ in the entertainment industry, and how did you overcome it? My biggest challenge was being this color. Yeah. Let's talk about that. Being a brown brother in the music industry or in entertainment industry, period, was just tough in the 90s. It was dominated by white, black, and even Latinos was just making they were just blowing up with, your Ricky Martins and J-Lo's and all of that back in the 90s. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, when I was first just getting into radio, Filipinos were non-existent. That's right. Non-existent. It was only E-Man at Power and myself at the Beat in LA radio. And then up and down the West Coast, so you had a couple DJs in San Francisco, one DJ in San Diego, one in New York. That was it. It was just very, very non-existent. And so every time we had these meetups, we would really get together and kind of just confide in each other. But yeah, it was very challenging coming up. I've had my bouts of discrimination at a party. What do you know about hip hop? Or they'll come up to the DJ booth and tell me crap like that. Wow. What are you doing, man? Let's get the brother on. I'm like, brother on. What are you talking about? Yeah. So I'm sure that happened. I mean, we've all experienced that, I'm sure at that level it must have been tough. How'd you overcome that, Isaiah? What did you have to do? Especially you're about to perform and you're getting that discrimination. The overcoming came with time, with persistence, and then massive success. Acceptance. When I became a radio DJ for the radio station, and when I became the top morning shows, or I DJ'd for the top people, that's what opened it up, and then they treated me way different versus someone coming up in the game, Yeah. We appreciate you, bro. I know a lot of my friends, and we appreciate you just, pushing through and breaking that barrier. And now you're pulling up others now up to the music industry. So thank you so much, man. Thank you. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough being one of those trailblazers, just setting a new path. But now I can proudly say in 2024 that we are just, there's so many people in the entertainment industry. And I just DJ'd a Penthouse event in downtown LA just a couple weeks ago. And these were Filipinos that are in, they're working in TV, film, just everything. Wow. And so it was amazing. And I'm representing the radio and music side of things. So it's amazing to see the growth in the past 20 plus years of what we've become. And then you got the successes of Bruno Mars and Olivia Rodriguez and other Filipinos just killing it. Oh, thank you, man. I know you had a big part of that, bro. I hope you know that, big part of it. So Isaiah, can you talk about the evolution of your music style? How have your influences changed over the years? And how do you stay ahead of trends in such a fast-paced industry? What do you do? The best way of staying ahead of trends or just being on point. It's just number one, being open to everything and being able to adapt and change with the times. Our music today is nothing like it was 5 years ago. It's even changing even quicker. You know, like you remember when we're growing up, like one song, whatever, Prince or Michael Jackson song would be like on the radio for a year or for a couple years. And it was just, you'd be number one on Billboard for like 100 weeks or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
The turnover of music nowadays is just so quick. It's, you know, like lightning speed. Like people get bored.
I just realized it's so true. It's so quick, man. Everyone has, you know, there's like their focus is like maybe a week, and the next song, we need the next song. Crazy.
But yeah, your twins, my twins that are 12 years old, like they just consume music way differently than how we consume music. And, you know, we would love an album for a long time. Damn, it's just like one day and it's gone, or a week and it's gone, you know?
Yeah. Well, Isaiah, how many people associate DJing with just playing music? But there's so much more to it. What do you think is the biggest misconception about what you do?
Biggest misconception is just people think we just stand there and we turn knobs and push buttons and things like that. But no, DJing is a whole art form. DJing is...
Yes, I agree.
It's the same thing as playing an instrument. It's the same thing as playing these turntables and mixers and the musicality and all of that, you know? So yeah, I think the misconception is that people see one thing, but there's so much more, because I mean, we're operating this. We're kind of reading the crowd and kind of figuring out what's going to move them or what's going to take the party to another level. And then we're also talking and engaging with the mic and talking to the audience. And then you got people in our ear or people holding their phones like, hey, can you play this?
That's right. That's right.
We're like multitasking to the yin yang, you know, like we're multitasking and everything, and we're still trying to keep our focus and keep the vibe of the party going and keep everything going, you know?
Yeah, that's right. They don't realize that. Wow, and that you are literally the pulse of the party, literally. You know what I mean?
They would not go up and do that to a singer. They would not go do that to a band. You know, like play this request or you know, try and talk to them in the middle of a performance. Yet they do that all the time to the DJ.
Yeah. In fact, I'm guilty. I've done that. I've done that. Yeah, it's so crazy. Well, let me ask you this. Who were your biggest influences when you first started? And how have those influences shaped your career? Are there any DJs or producers you look up to today? Who are some of your inspirations today?
Man, I mean, in the early years, it was all the DJs that were like just doing amazing things. So everything from like the Joe Cooley that I saw at my middle school dance to the Jazzy Jeffs, who eventually became Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, and then you know, they had that crazy career. But my Beat Junkies brothers, and then you know, the Scratch Pickles, Qbert, Mixmaster Mike, all those guys up north, and the Executioners, like. Those guys were just like they're like the Jedi Masters in DJing to me, and it's just amazing to see where the art form started and the art form has evolved to, and the amazing just craziness that's happened all these years later. I mean, I'm pushing almost 30 years in the game.
So cool. Yeah, you're OG, man. You're the Godfather, brother.
Actually, I am pushing over 30 years in the game. Sheesh.
You're the Godfather. So on that note, what's a piece of advice you wish you could give your younger self when you first started on the business? And what advice would you give to an aspiring DJ today to make it big?
Well, the piece of advice I wish I was given back then was like there's an abundance of artists and creatives and everything out there, but there's only one you, and you just gotta be who you are and bring your light to the world, because what you bring is a different flavor from this person and that person and everything, and just be you. And then I think in being yourself and also like exuding your talent in the way that you see it,
yeah,
it inspires others to do it their way as well, you know? And so I think I didn't understand that in the beginning. I was always trying to be like the next person, or I was trying to be like this person or this person or this person. No one ever sat me down and said, just be who you are.
Such good advice. So if I was an aspiring DJ right now and I met you, you're DJing, and I said, Isaiah, you know, Mr. Icy Ice, you know, what are some of the things I could do right now to make it big? What would you tell me?
Well, in this day and age, man, I mean, like, talent, number one, of course, you got to have the talent. You got to work hard and develop and train and put in the time to be talented in what you do. But you also have to have balance in being able to push, promote, market yourself, put yourself out there in the world, because you could be the most talented DJ, but then if no one knows about you, you're stuck in your bedroom.
Exactly. That's right.
We have so many tools in this day and age to push yourself out there. It's easy for people to record videos of themselves, put it up on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and get yourself out there. But it's a balance between being very good at what you do and then also promoting yourself and marketing yourself in a way that people know about you as well.
So true. You know, the audience, this is to the audience, Isaiah you can actually check out, he actually became also his career, TEDx actually asked him to do a talk on his career, and you can actually check out his talk, his TEDx talk on YouTube. So look him up. It's an amazing talk. And he's actually going to be writing a book soon. He's been working on it a while. The book title, I think it's called Success is in the Mix. Isn't that cool? I can't wait for that book. It's going to be an amazing book about his life and what he learned, how he became successful. It's going to be a great book on showing people that success is in your mix. So, Isaiah, any parting words? And if you can, man, if you can scratch us a little thing, that'd be great to take us out of here. That'd be great, man.
Oh, man.
So, any parting words for the audience?
Man, hey everybody! I'm just truly blessed and grateful to be able to do what I do all these years and continue to do it at a very high level. And I'm just grateful to be able to share my love and my passion with the world. And Kalani, I thank you so much for having me on your show and letting me share with your audience. And I truly appreciate the opportunity. Beautiful.
And then if they wanted to get a hold of you so you could DJ their party, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Best way is you could just hit me on my socials. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, just hit me on at DJ Icy Ice, and I usually see all those messages, or those messages are delivered to me, especially when it's involving an event.
Beautiful. So the audience, here you have Isaiah Icy Ice, incredible father, incredible husband, incredible businessman, and he literally paved the way in the hip hop culture to where it is today in the DJing world. An amazing man. So Isaiah, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're extremely busy. Good luck to you raising those twins of yours, your other kids. Thank you again, and you have an amazing life, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you for watching. Please watch my other video on the millionaire book publisher who has helped over 400 authors become bestsellers. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Kalani Bailey out.